For where now Matt Lucas stars in our afternoon play, first broadcast in 2009 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Gerard Hoffnung's death, in which the eccentric cartoonist organises the first ever full-scale humorous symphonic concert at the Royal Festival Hall.
Pizzicato, crescendo, glissando, arpeggio, staccato, diminuendo. Thud. Listen, they're everywhere. Ah, but what do they look like? You don't know? Oh, come now, old thing. You don't have to be an artist to see sounds. Pick one. Any. A glissando, did you say? Glissando. A big slide, like a sigh. Oh, but who is a glissando? Who, I said, not what. I don't draw what's. Well, he's a long, languid sort of fellow. Snake-like, resting on his elbows. Just relaxing and smoking a pipe, that's it, while his lower half sort of coils into the air, doubles back on itself, and sloops down his back. Is sloop a word? Ought to be. There, see? Or a hum. Yes, a hum. Tubby little chappy with wobbly edges. What else can I... perhaps? No. Ah, I have it. An oompa. A big, beefy, bouncy bellyful of oompa. Oompa. Oompa! Oompa!
Hoffnung, Drawn to Music by Alan Stafford, with Matt Lucas as Gerard Hoffnung and Gina McKee as Annetta.
And over here, along the end wall, these are from Hoffnung's Acoustics, the last of his 6 little books, published 1959. It's a book of cartoons. There, the Oompa. A typical Hoffnung creation, if my husband could possibly be described as typical. A little round man sitting on the grass playing the tuba. Not Gerard, the drawing. But the thing is, the tuba sort of grows out of the man. It's all one object. You can't tell where the man ends and the tuba begins. That was Gerard, in a way. Once he picked up that tuba, the two were inseparable. They suited each other. Warm, comical, a little too loud at times. Everyone liked Gerard. Pretty much everyone. I never met anyone who didn't.
Is it all right? Stew, is it all right?
It's fine. Fine. A little dry.
You were a little late.
Some rehearsals drag on. Well, some people make them drag on. Some people seem to think...
Some people?
I mean... I don't like being stared at.
I'm not!
Not you. No, not... Him, the tuba player. I could sense him. Whenever I picked up the cymbals, he leant forward, looking, studying, scrutinising, as if he were waiting for me to...
Yes?
To drop them.
And did you?
Of course I didn't. No, I didn't. But all the time, he was looking and smiling.
You should have smiled back.
Oh, yes, he'd like that.
Well, there you are. Everyone's happy.
We're a symphony orchestra. We're not supposed to be happy.
The cymbals. A melancholy little man tightly clutching the cymbals, awaiting his cue, with his nose heavily bandaged. Gerard was fascinated by percussionists. He'd study every movement, every mannerism, while counting his umpteen bars rest, or, as he called them,
my bars of chocolate.
Playing in the Morley College Orchestra, he met many eminent musicians. Donald Swann, Malcolm Arnold, We'd entertain them to dinner. I provided the dinner, Jared the entertainment.
And for my encore.
Please, Mr. Renton.
No, but just one more.
Jared, you said one more after dessert, and that's your seventh.
Encore or dessert?
Oh, Gerard, take pity on your struggling accompanist.
Struggling, Donald. I thought I was in the hands of a professional.
You are.
Then kindly behave like one.
Gerard, your musicality is beyond question, while your sight reading is beyond belief.
Oh, I don't have to read it, Malcolm. The music's in my soul.
A pity the rests aren't. I had to skip 10 bars to keep up.
Yes, well, let's see if we can get it up to 20.
I'm closing the lid.
Very well. A cappella it will be.
No, please. Consordini. A direction for brass players to play softly by inserting a mute. In the bell of each instrument sits a beer bottle, except the tuba, which has an upturned barrel. There's more than a little of Jared in his brass players. A portly, elderly English gentleman, which he wasn't, not at all. When I first met him, he was 24 and looked 44, a mature 44 at that, and he behaved like it. Perhaps he chose a voice to match his appearance, and if his early baldness was surprising, so was his voice. What had become of his German accent?
Mein Herr! I have lost mein Herr!
By the time he was 30, he looked 60. Not only looked it, he acted it. Yes. With Jared, there was plenty of acting.
Crumble?
What?
Dessert, it's crumble.
Rhubarb?
Apple.
Oh.
There was a funny old man on the bus today.
Funny?
No. Funny, you know. Funny.
Really?
You see, the bus had just started up when he...
Please wait.
Here you are, mate. Take my arm.
Oh, thank you.
Don't pull. Just hold on and up. There you go.
Much obliged. Dear me, so many people.
Yes, it's always... Oh, please, have my seat.
Oh, goodness gracious, no. Make a lady stand? No, if I can just squeeze through,
No,
I can...
please, sit here. You really ought to sit down.
Look at your tiny little thing. Only take up half a seat. Nudge up a little. You too, sir. More than that. What am I, Thumbelina? That's it. That's better. Would you care for the pinch of snuff?
No, thank you.
Of course, when I was your age, there weren't any buses. None at all. Just horses.
Oh, the trams, yeah.
Yes. What? Oh, no, not trams. Chariots. That's how we got around.
Chariots?
Do you know the worst driver I ever met? Boadicea. He was appalling. No hand signals, couldn't reverse for toffee.
By the time he had to get off, everyone was listening. It took 2 of us to get into his feet, poor old soul, and 4 to lower him off the bus.
Oh.
There. And down.
Oh, dear.
Oh, thank you, my dear friends. Farewell, sweet lady. Most kind. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
As we pulled away, he waved, and we all waved back. And then he started running. Really fast. This old man, he kept up with us for ages. Eventually, he climbed onto a lamppost and started laughing. He just laughed and laughed. And then we all laughed. A busload of people all chuckling merrily.
Really? Can't see the joke myself. This tea's stone cold.
I'll make another pot.
The Maestro. The first of those little books of cartoons published 1953, the year after we married. The conductor on his podium, stick-thin, long, unkempt hair, and underneath, a simple Italian musical term. Well, simple if you know Italian.
Furioso.
The baton clenched between his teeth, eyes glaring.
Strepitoso.
Thick black smoke belching from his head, he cartwheels with rage.
Fortissimo! Vivatissimo!
His body becomes a spinning blur of notes, claps, sparks, and flame. His clothes scattered in all directions, a heavily perspiring figure, clad only in underwear, socks, and sock suspenders, bowing amidst a barrage of bouquets. Before I met Gerard, I trained as a children's nurse. It sometimes came in useful.
Basket! Basket!
Wait, can't you just... I've got the tea tray. There. Now what?
My waste paper basket, what have you done with it?
Nothing. It's there. Look.
Well, it's supposed to be here.
What? 6 inches to the right.
I haven't the time to go wandering round the room.
6 inches away.
If I have to mount a search party
6
whenever
inches.
I mean, is it too much effort to put things back in their right place?
Jared, you really are a most unnaturally tidy artist. Oh, I like his face. And this one. Just right.
You didn't laugh.
What?
You laughed at the first one, you didn't laugh at the second.
What? Oh. Well, you've shown me this one before.
Oh, now you're tired of it.
It's good. They're all good. If they weren't, I'd tell you.
Would you?
Don't forget your tea.
I won't.
You will. You'll forget it. It'll get cold.
Will it stay warmer if I think of it now and again?
Possibly. I do. In 1950, the BBC held a big exhibition and gave Gerard a big blank wall. So he set about enlarging his symphony orchestra.
What wonderful detail.
What? Eh?
Oh, sorry. Dreadfully sorry. Nearly had you off your ladder.
Eh? No, no worries, old fellow. I'd only bounce.
Bounce?
Yes, bounce. It's a wonderful way to get around, bouncing. Saves a fortune on shoes. You must try it.
I'm afraid the BBC doesn't encourage its radio producers to bounce.
Eh? Oh, what a shame. Right, hey, coming down. What? You give me a hand. Thank you so much. Very kind. Gerard Hoffnung, pleased to meet you. A radio producer, you say?
Yes, Ian Messiter. I work in...
And how many radios have you produced?
Yes. Anyway, I'm trying out a new panel game. 1 minute, please.
Oh.
I need people with unusual, well, that is, distinctive voices. Would you be at all...
What would I have to do, dear chap?
Well, just speak for a minute on various subjects.
But suppose I have nothing to say.
Well, then someone will challenge you for hesitating.
So it doesn't matter if I've nothing to say. I can sit there, chip in the odd word, and leave it to the others.
Fine.
And before I knew what was happening, the barrel started down, jerking me off the ground. I decided to hang on.
Ian, shouldn't we be recording by now?
Not much longer, Roy. A minute or two. Difficult to tell.
Why's Gerard doing the warm-up anyway? That's your job.
1 week he just sort of told me he was. He'd got this bricklayer story he'd cut out of the paper. First week it took 2 minutes, now it's nearer 7. The audience seems to like it.
On the shoulder.
And a challenge from Mr. Hoffnung?
Yes, Mr. Plumley, yes. My turn now, is it?
Not until you've explained your challenge.
Oh, yes. Well, she's talking about radios, And the subject on the card is cats.
No, she was talking about the cat's whisker. Part of a radio, but also part of a cat.
Radios made from cats? Oh, I've never heard of such a thing. First violins and now... Oh, poor little pusscat.
Mr. Hoffnung, what is your challenge?
Cruelty to animals.
Very well. 35 seconds on cats with Mr. Hoffnung, starting now.
Ah, yes. Cats are beautiful creatures. Little pink noses, curling around your leg like a chummy boa constrictor. I teach them tricks. That's what I do. I only do it on Wednesdays and Thursdays, Fridays, and the rest of the week, you understand, and the weekends. Find the lady. Aces to the top.
Ramble, ramble,
And you'll be
ramble.
amazed at their
At least
spite of
at
form.
home I can
remember
switch him
the
off.
Cat conjurer. Lovely chap. Eric his name was, and he used to saw a dog in...
Oh, I was listening to that.
Die Gespenster. The ghosts. Jared was only 12 when he drew this. Though he wasn't Jared, he was Gerhard, Gert for short, in a Jewish kindergarten in Berlin, right next door to the residence of Heinrich Himmler. And yet Gert still had a fondness for monsters.
Aha! He is drawn Dracula. This boy obviously has the eye for art. The Nosferatu! He draws a laughing spectre, a screaming spectre. A tax inspector! There a skull, here a werewolf. I do not. You do not what? Here a werewolf. The boy must dream of ghouls. I do also. Lovely, pretty young. Not girls, ghouls, ghouls. Ah, now I hear the werewolf.
And that fascination with the macabre never left him. Our dinner guests would wonder where he'd got to, little knowing he was tearing off strips of sellotape to squash his nose flat. And with joke-shot teeth and a cushion down his back, Quasimodo was ready for his grand eye-rolling entrance.
Sanctuary! I'm as shapeless as a man in the moon! Esmeralda!
And when we finally escorted the hunchback of Hampstead Heath out of the room, there'd be a gentle tap at the window.
Gentlemen, your indulgence, please. Thank you. I trust you enjoyed your meal?
It was a feast, Gerard, a feast.
Oh, thank you, Donald, thank you. Gentlemen, you are privileged to be at the birth of something amazing.
Oh, good Lord. He's about to give birth.
That is amazing.
It would explain why he's eating for two.
What I am proposing...
Yeah, first the baby, then the proposal. How modern.
My proposal is this. A Hoffnung Music Festival.
A what?
A Hoffnung Music Festival. An evening of musical caricatures. Overtures, symphonies, concerti, all brand new, but composed à la Hoffnung.
You're going to write music?
Yes. No, my ideas, your music. It's your task to transform my imaginings into reality.
You mean turn your pipe dreams into weeks of hard slog?
This is one big practical joke. Isn't it?
Exactly. A symphonic practical joke. Anarchy set to music. Odd instruments, odd sounds. A concert to end all concerts.
Concert to end all our careers.
Hoffnung, concert goers like their classical music classical. Hard enough finding an audience for new music, let alone new music we've mucked about with.
Big is funny. Loud is funny. You can't whisper a joke. You have to bellow it. Ha ha! And I couldn't possibly lend my name to anything smaller than the festival hall.
The manager of the festival hall seems to inhale his coffee.
Ambulance for the festival hall manager.
So we're all agreed then.
Sorry, did I just sleep through a vote?
Right. Excellent. Excellent. We have a pianist.
Oh, good. Who?
Yvonne Arno.
But Yvonne, she's an actress.
Oh, she's classically trained. Played the Grieg hundreds of times.
I thought it was the Tchaikovsky.
No. The orchestra plays the Tchaikovsky, the pianist plays the Grieg. It's conductor versus soloist. A meeting of minds? No, a battle of wills.
So we have a programme.
A programme? Of course we have a
A
programme.
few weeks ago, all you had was a title.
Dennis Brain, he'll be playing the,
French horn.
garden hose. Oh, yes, we must get him a wheelbarrow. And Humphrey Searle is setting Sir Walter Scott's Lochinvar with bangs, crashes, and the longest alpenhorn you've ever seen.
So rather highbrow.
He's Britain's foremost 12-tone composer. It's his one chance to see what a full house looks like. Oh, and Donald Swan's tinkering away at the Surprise Symphony. One surprise indeed. What was Haydn thinking of?
Gerard, you won't be disappointed if the hall's a little empty. It's a new idea. Audiences are very wary of anything new.
Oh, but they do so enjoy making a noise. Clapping, cheering, coughing, oh, they adore that. So imagine the chance to laugh out loud. And who better to set them off than Malcolm Arnold? The man's full of ideas. Well, he will be once I've told him what they are. Keep up, Malcolm. Stop.
All right, I thought we were meeting in the pub.
Outside the pub, I said. We're going somewhere far more fun.
Oh, fun? In a pub?
Oh, yes. Now, this overture
Oh,
I
Gerard,
want to
I'm a
talk...
busy man. I'm writing a concerto, my third symphony.
I did enjoy those girls.
Also a ballet.
What were they called, those mischievous girls?
Well, you see, when you're a serious composer, you have to think of...
Trillions! That was yours, wasn't it?
The film score was mine, yes.
Are you doing another?
Possibly.
Sorry, you were saying, when you're a serious composer...
Yes, all right, Gerard, what you want.
Ah, here we are.
Gerard,
Yes?
you didn't drag me all this way to help you choose a vacuum cleaner.
My dear fellow, not a vacuum cleaner, 4 vacuum cleaners. Remember my cartoon? What better soloist for your overture than 4 vacuum cleaners? Listen. What do you think?
But I have to write an overture for... It's shaped tinny.
Yes, tinny, quite agree. More oomph required. Yes. How about...
Gentlemen, you're concerned about the sound.
Concerned is paramount.
Well, then concern yourself no more. Why, our latest model is virtually silent.
Silent? What possible use is this?
Well, most people prefer it.
I don't. I want 4 vacuum cleaners with 4 differently pitched whirs.
Differently pitched.
No, hang on. It's my overture. 3 differently pitched vacuum cleaners. And what's that contraption over there?
The floor polisher. It's not ready for domestic
No,
use.
never mind. Just switch it on.
Splendid! Low A. Or would it be flat?
Fortunately, I have my tuning fork.
Oh, good.
As I said, it's not for the home. I mean, where do you intend using it?
Where do you think? On the stage of the Royal Festival Hall. Now, be a good fellow and switch on every machine in the shop.
I'll just go and get the manager.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind. Now, I'd like to have a look in particular at this contraption here.
I can't eat this.
Oh, mine's all right. Try mine. Go on, try.
It's not the food. It's not entirely the food. It's him.
Which him? The usual him.
He's not usual. That's the point. If he were usual, none of this would be happening. Sniggering in the back row is one thing. Now he's running the whole show. Wouldn't it be funny if... Hold the instrument like this. That's really funny. Play it this way. That's much funnier. And everyone's laughing and laughing and laughing and...
You as well?
Of course not me as well. Some people can force a laugh. I can't. I wouldn't want to. It's weeks since we played any decent music.
But it's all proper music, isn't it? Proper composers.
It's funny music. Crash, bang, ha-ha music. Tempo de rock and roll. What's that supposed to mean? It's like asking Beethoven to write the score for Tom and Jerry.
Or Mutt and Jeff.
Sorry?
Beethoven. Mutt and Jeff. Still, if it brings in an audience, it's...
Which it won't. Concert audiences have a certain sophistication. They don't giggle at funny noises. And try as you may, You can't elicit laughter from rows of empty seats.
Haydn's Surprise Symphony. The bespectacled listener blissfully unaware of a long arm snaking out of the gramophone horn, gripping a large mallet. The purpose of Donald Swan's version was to keep the surprises coming. That sudden loud chord wasn't the end of things. It was the beginning.
Ah, Donald, there you are. Yes, I thought up some more surprises.
Just how many surprises do we need?
As I said, more. Now, why don't we, when everyone hits that big chord, why not make one of the festival hall organ pipes topple over?
Because it'd kill someone?
Not a real one. Hand-painted. Crafted from the finest cardboard. Mild concussion at the most. And that waltz variation, a ballerina dancing through the audience.
With a couple of bewigged footmen scattering rose petals at her feet.
Perfect.
I wasn't being serious.
Good, you're learning. You have the cartoonist's eye. Polish it and give it back to me, will you? And at the end, John, that 8-foot bass drum for Malcolm's overture.
Relax, Gerard, relax. I've been to the festival hall, I measured the doorway, I measured the bass drum. There's inches to spare.
I'd measure it again.
Who's organising this? Me or you?
Well, you are, John, and you have my utmost confidence. However, I'd measure it again.
Drums don't grow, doorways don't shrink. I've measured it.
You did use the same measure on both. You may have stretched it.
All right. I'll measure it again.
That's the way, my good man. So, Donald...
Surprises. Bags more of them. Now, for the lift song, I thought...
Lift song? Another of yours?
Oh, myself and John Betjeman.
Oh.
And Jenny Johnson. Oh, you simply must hear.
Soprano?
Well, not exactly.
Yes. Now, this surprise symphony, last few bars, sort of tune you'd play on a child's recorder or toy xylophone. Yes, I tell you what I've been thinking.
Beer! In the afternoon?
All in the quest for musical perfection. Listen. One more swig, I think. That's it. The well-tempered beer. Now, which is it to be? Beer bottle? Milk bottle? Or stone-hot water bottle?
Honestly, there's an alpenhorn reclining the entire length of our staircase and beyond. There's that giant twisty bassoon thing lounges on our...
Contrabass serpent. Priceless museum piece.
And get it a glass case, not its own sofa. And now you litter the dining table with bottles. Where are we supposed to live?
I popped into the festival hall this morning.
Don't tell me. We have to store the big bass drum in our bed.
No.
Oh. Well, look, tickets only went on sale today. I'm sure with a little more publicity...
They've sold out.
What?
2 hours. Every ticket went in 2 hours. Their fastest sellout since Liberace. I'd better give them a good show.
I'd better get you a candelabra.
Mr. Hoffnung,
picture post.
Oh, yes.
Your orchestra includes a quartet of vacuum cleaners. Why?
Why?
I mean, how do you use them?
How?
Yes, how?
How?
How do they...
Why?
Mr. Daily Sketch.
Yes.
Do you think the concert-going public is ready for a Hoffnung Festival of Music?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Oh, they're not?
No, it's not on for another week. If they're all dressed up and standing at the bus stop, they're ready far too early.
Mr. Hoffnung, Manchester Guardian.
Oh, yes.
At a time like this, Hungary, the Suez crisis, well, isn't a concert of symphonic silliness the very last thing we need?
Silliness? Well, silliness, is it? Well, there's an awful lot of silliness in the world, wouldn't you say? At least our silliness doesn't take sides or prisoners or... No, our silliness is silliness for all. So 3 cheers for... Oh, where are my manners? Won't you all join me in some liquid refreshment? Now, gentlemen, who's for cocoa? Hello. What's going on?
Our whole door's got to come off. Can't get that monstrous drum through.
Oh, dear. Can't you? Strange things, Dawes.
Yes, I know.
Yes. Now, I expect, John, at some point you'll want a few words on the tuba.
I'll want a few words, but once you open your mouth...
A few well-chosen words, that's all. It might not bring the house down, but it may loosen a door or two.
A very, very few words. The programme's long enough as it is.
Yes, well, if anything has to go, this Jenny Johnson song. We've got a contrabass serpent, a monster sub-contrabass tuba, an 8-foot bass drum, doorway permitting. I just wonder if some young girl trilling away a witty ditty may get a little lost among... What on earth is that noise?
Oh, some young girl trilling away.
In the basement, stop.
That's lower than I can get on my tuba.
And with the Suez Canal ceasefire holding firm, we examine hopes for a lasting peace and the economic consequences for both Britain and Europe in the months...
Now,
and
try
in
to
the
sit still,
years
Mr. Hoffnung. The cameraman, he keeps losing bits of your head. Now, I'll come to you straight after this report. It's some light relief for our viewers.
Yes, my pleasure. Of course, I blame Anthony Eden. Bungled the whole business. He'll have to go.
Yes, well, perhaps you're here to talk about your festival, not Sis.
No, but he's got to go. It needs saying.
Well, by all means, say it, but not while you're on the air.
Eden must go.
You're not going to say that, are you?
What, Eden must go?
Please, stop saying that. Now, if you utter those words, we'll have to cut the broadcast. Now, you'll take us off the air.
What? Taken off? Just for saying Eden must go?
Stop it.
Eden must go.
No, please, Mr. Hoffnung.
Eden must go.
2,
Eden must go.
1.
I am joined now by Mr. Gerard Hoffnung.
Evening, my dear fellow. You want to talk about my festival, do you?
Yes, the festival.
Festival.
Now, please, yes, talk about
The festival, yes. Well, that's why I'm here. What else would I talk about? Most peculiar. Now, it really will be the most remarkable evening.
You don't often come to my concerts.
You don't often play in the festival hall.
I just hope you can hear the music through all the guffawing.
Well, you'll be loud enough. More than...
I will treat this fiasco as I would any other concert. If you look at my face, there won't be a vestige, not the merest hint of a smile. All my concentration will be on the music. And everything else, all the high jinks erupting all around, I won't even acknowledge it. My face will be a mask devoid of all emotion.
Yes, dear. Are you practicing it now?
Audiences are an odd bunch. For a concert like this, the odder the better. Here's the concert program. Tuesday, the 13th of November, 1956. Profusely illustrated, of course. With a printed program in your hands, suddenly you believe it's all going to happen. But the best laid plans are subject to bizarre tricks. And what was this, if not a whole evening of bizarre tricks? As the festival hall manager stepped forward, there was an uneasy silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to ask your indulgence for an announcement. Owing to circumstances over which the LCC and the management of the hall have no control, tonight's concert will take place exactly as advertised.
The grand overture dedicated to President Hoover. Concerto for hosepipe and strings. Sir Walter Scott's Lochinvar for speakers and percussion.
There are maidens in Scotland more lovely by far that would gladly be bride to the young Lochinvar.
Jenny Johnson, from basement to rooftop in The Lift. The Piano Concerto to end all piano concertos. A tuba demonstration by Mr. Hoffnung and his colleagues from the London Symphony Orchestra of New York.
As a matter of fact, this is a Stradivarius tuba.
Speak up! We can't hear you!
Can you hear me now?
And Donald Swan's Surprise Symphony, with additional surprises.
Did you see? Did you see my face? I told you. Not a smile, not a glint, not a glimmer.
Yes, dear. Your expression, quite perfect.
Really?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't understand a lot of the jokes, but one look at you... I was laughing louder than anyone.
What?
Gerard, you were triumphant! That audience was well and truly Hoffnung.
Can we go back to our proper jobs now?
Oh, by all means, dear fellows, if anyone will employ you after this. Oh, I doubt it. I wouldn't touch you.
They laughed. The whole audience laughed.
I told you they would.
Yes, but you couldn't be sure. No one could.
I was.
Not one moment's self-doubt.
Oh, that's for serious artists. They dread mistakes, being laughed at. We rehearse our mistakes. We want to be laughed at. What could go wrong?
Giving me 2 sticks and an 8-foot bass drum, that could go wrong.
Still in one piece.
I'm not sure I am. I sometimes wonder if I'm your wife or one of your cartoons.
Carmen.
I said cartoons.
Carmen. Opera. We should have done an opera.
We did an overture, a concerto, a symphony.
An opera to end all operas. Next time we really must do that. Yes, Carmen, Fidelio, Don Giovanni, all mixed up. The Valkyries speeding in on motorbikes.
Gerard! Gerard! 2 years later, a second Hoffnung festival with opera, and 3 years after that, a third, with all the typical Hoffnung elements, except one. Hoffnung himself. A few weeks after the second concert, Jared spoke at the Oxford Union student debate, where his much-polished bricklayer saga was finally recorded for posterity.
Unfortunately, the barrel of bricks was heavier than I was. And before I knew what was happening, the barrel started down, jerking me off the ground. I decided to hang on. And halfway up, I met the barrel coming down. And received a severe blow on the shoulder.
They were debating the motion, life begins at 38. For Jared, life stopped at 34. No one quite believed it. Not that he died so young, but that he was so young. Everything he did with a passion, music above all. He couldn't caricature anything he didn't love. You can see that, can't you?
Yes, I can.
Now I look closely, I mean, he obviously... Well, I was always saying, wasn't I? What a brilliant mind, what a brilliant eye.
Oh, always. My husband's the musical one. Oh, I love to listen, but I've no idea what makes it tick.
Well, I suppose, in a way, I do. Tick-tick on the woodblock, tick-tick on the side drum.
You're a percussionist?
Yes. I played in the same orchestra as your late husband.
A percussionist? Did you see this one? Oh, look. Look at the timpanist's expression. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, yes. You know, he looks a little like you.
Yes. Yes, doesn't he?
Gerard was a great puller of faces. We could be on a bus, and he'd squint or twitch. I'd start laughing, and so would he, the two of us chuckling like children. But it was a talent he put to good use. When working, he might pause to stare into the mirror, experimenting with extraordinary expressions, till he found the exact one he wanted for the character in his drawing. He was a symphony of surprises, and there's no finer example than the speech he made to the Oxford Union. After entertaining the audience hilariously for almost an hour, finally he tackled the subject head-on. No jokes, no stories, just Gerard speaking from the heart. Pure Hoffnung, which, as anyone familiar with German will tell you, means hope.
38, huh? Life starts at 38. Now, for me, life is going to start when I find myself living in a proper civilized society with no color bar and no race riots. And that's not the worst, but in a society where young people stand up when they feel some injustice has been done, because they don't. People don't stand up. They will not stand up. They sit back and they say, oh, this is a great pity, and that's that. But that's when life is going to start for me, when I find people standing up and do something about the things they feel strongly about. These appalling things. That's all!
Hoffnung, Drawn to Music, starred Matt Lucas as Gerard and Gina McKee as Annetta. Stephen Boswell was Donald, Nicholas Jones was Malcolm, and John Glover was John. Hugh Bonneville and Felicity Montague were Mr. and Mrs. Drummer, with a special appearance by Annetta Hoffnung. Other parts were played by the cast. The play was written by Alan Stafford with thanks to Annetta Hoffnung, and also Joseph Horowitz, John Amos, George Engel, and Emily Hoffnung. Alan Stafford wrote and accompanied the tuba music, which was played by Jeff Webb. Hoffnung, Drawn to Music, was directed by Lisa Evans, produced by Adam Bromley, and was an above-the-title production for BBC Radio 4.